Malcolm Patrick, the dentist from Stratford, in the Opel Ascona 400, the winner of this year's Granite City Rally, is now out to beat Tim Bryce's downhill time in the much bigger Opel Ascona 400 than the Ford Escort that Tim Bryce has just gone down in. But handles beautifully, a very, very sturdy car, developed in Germany by German mechanics under the control of Englishman Tony Fall, who is the Opel competitions manager at Rüsselsheim. And Malcolm Patrick is certainly getting the benefit of Tony Fall's knowledge, because Tony is a great ex-rally driver himself, and he knows what the score is as far as developing and setting up a rally motor car. Malcolm Patrick, Opel Ascona, the split of 47.3 is slower than Andy Dawson and exactly the same as Tim Bryce. So he's second fastest down at the present moment, but as I say, slower than the Lancia Stratos of team dealer Datsun, Team Datsun Europe boss Andy Dawson. Malcolm Patrick, very tall, sits very high in the steering seat, well back from it, looks very relaxed, despite the fact that he's having to twist the steering wheel this way and that to maintain the correct direction of the car. And it's a good time. Tim Bryce, the quickest so far, 38.5, 1/10 of a second slower at 1:38.6 is Malcolm Patrick in the Opel Ascona, and he's 2/10 of a second quicker on aggregate than Tim Bryce. So every driver we have had down Escadavid so far has put up a new fastest time. Jim McRae on top of his superb form, although he's better at tarmac rallying than he is on loose stuff like Escadavid. It doesn't mean to say that he isn't very, very good indeed at rough forestry stages like this one, because he is. First in the Circuit of Ireland last year and this year, leading the British Championship this year. First in the Galway Rally last year, and the Mintex, and the Circuit of Ireland, and Donegal and Cork and the Castrol National. Second in the Mintex Rally this year, despite the fact that he had to acclimatise himself from the Vauxhall Chevette that he drove so successfully last year to this Opel Ascona. Jim McRae, fastest time downhill is still that of, to the split, Andy Dawson, 46.8, and so McRae has equalled it. McRae is equal fastest to the split. The fastest downhill time for the whole run that we have so far is that of Tim Bryce, 1:38.5. And I think that Jim McRae is going to be quicker than Tim Bryce. Fastest on aggregate so far is Malcolm Patrick in an Opel Ascona, like the car that his team leader here, Jim McRae, is driving. Beautiful smooth run by Jim. He hasn't put a wheel wrong. Out of the last bend, it's just foot down, and he's kept out of the gully, which KB dropped into and lost time. And that 1:37.2 is by far the quickest. It's 1.3 seconds faster than Tim Bryce, and of course that means that we certainly again have a new aggregate leader. Jim McRae's done it. His aggregate 3:11.6 is going to be a very close thing between him and Tony Pond. The drivers are having a hard time, and so are a lot of the spectators. Those people who look as though they're on an almost flat surface are, like hundreds of other spectators here at Escadavid, right up on the hillside overlooking this absolutely superb venue, this rally stage. You can see how far up the hillside they are, and indeed how far the hill stretches behind them. And there are hundreds of others dotted all the way up. And here is Per Eklund, who was 5th fastest uphill And I wonder if Eklund is going to be able to beat that inspired drive of Jim McRae's. Downhill, fastest, 1:37.2. A slow start for Per. Left-hand drive, the Swedish driver who won here in 1979 in a Triumph TR7 V8, who was second here last year in a Triumph TR7 V8. Regrettably, there aren't any of that fine motor car here today because British Leyland have retired the Triumph TR7 from rallying, to the regret of so many people, because it seemed to be getting better and better all the time. And Per Eklund then, who is very much the professional rally driver, has signed a contract with Toyota to drive for Ove Andersson's developed team, although it's Toyota UK that are backing him. And Per Eklund on his way with the split time of 46.5, and that is the fastest we've had so far. So Per Eklund is driving this very big-looking Toyota Celica very, very quickly indeed. He's always superb on the downhill run. 46.5, fastest on the split. Per Eklund, 33 years old, from Arvika in Sweden. The fastest time that he's got to beat downhill, Jim McRae, 1:37.2, and I think he's going to do it, because when he gets round this left-hander, there is very little left of the course. He's into it now. This is the last left-hander with that nasty little gully on the left. 1:37.2 is the target. He's going to beat it handsomely. And he has 0.4 of a second inside Jim McRae's fastest previously downhill run, and once again a faster time than anybody else on aggregate. The new leader with 4 men to go and real aces like Per Eklund is Per Eklund. 3 minutes 10.8 is the new target time. It's a moot point who's the most spectacular man at Escadavid today. Certainly one of them is this man, Pentti Iirisala, last year's winner. Headlamps alight. He's got nothing in front of him to warn that he's coming, but Pentti is going to make an impression every which way, visually. He's going to throw that car about, headlights blazing. The Rally Sprint winner of 1980 in a Vauxhall Chevette, the 1979 British champion, the man who's won so many events, the Scottish Rally, the Circuit of Ireland, the Ulster and Welsh Rallies, 16 years experience, back in a Ford Escort, driving for David Sutton. The fastest split time, I remind you, and I think we're going to have a faster one now from Pentti Iirisala, the Finnish driver from Helsinki, was 46.8 by Swedish driver Per Eklund, but no, Eklund quicker. That's a surprise. That really is a surprise to me. It's a mark of how well Per Eklund was driving in that Toyota Celica, that he was that much faster on the first half of this downhill run than the man we're watching, Pentti Iirisala. This is last year's win. Full bottle round here. Whoa. Watch his hands. Locked up the front wheels there. 36.8, the fastest time down. Per Eklund. And Pentti Iirisala not only outside Per Eklund's split time, but outside Per Eklund's total downhill time. So the sequence, as it was once before, has been broken. Pentti Iirisala on your right, on the left-hand side of the car, ever cheerful. He's always smiling. 3:11.3, but it's not good enough, Pentti. Per Eklund is quicker, 3 minutes 10.8, and is leading